Thank you everyone for joining today for the weekly AMA and update stream. Just going to give everyone a few minutes to get in as we just started up the Discord live.
Going on, Castor?
Hello, Castor. What's up, River? What's up, LL Kool-Aid?
And
Ninja? What's going on,
Jason.
guys? And if you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube, please feel free to put any questions, concerns, comments in those chats. We will be monitoring them and answering them to the best of our ability. Today is not going to be a crazy long stream, so we will have more time to give you for the Q&A session. But we have some really exciting news that we know the community has been asking for and are excited to share with you. Ryan, how are you,
Welcome to
sir?
Mills. Mhm.
I'm just going to ping Shaper, make sure he's aware that we are live.
Hello, Pick. Goodbye, Pick.
Okay, so it is 2:02. I think we can get started. People can trickle in, and we're also on YouTube and Facebook. So for anyone that misses this, they can catch up on those systems. There's Shaper. Welcome to the party.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Thanks for joining today. Full team is, well, not the full team, but as much of the team that I think is going to be able to join today is here. So we were just waiting for people to trickle in. I think we can get started now. Welcome everybody to our weekly update and Q&A stream. If you're joining us on Facebook, if you're joining us on YouTube, we are monitoring those chats. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments along the way, we have some exciting things on the agenda today, but it won't be as long as our normal stream. So if you do have any questions, concerns, anything like that, we will have additional time for that today. If not, we'll end the stream a little bit early. So I think the first thing I wanted to hop into is how Kickstarter's going. I think it's going extremely well. We broke $140,000 yesterday. We are only $7,000 away now from that amazing, or I think it's 6,500 maybe, from that 8-bit Biome set. So $6,500 away, or no, 7.5, sorry. $7,500 away from the 8-bit set. So I hope everybody's super excited for that. Super excited to see how the community starts building with that and the ideas that they come up with. And I don't know, any thoughts? I've been thinking about what I would do with the 8-bit set, and for some reason my mind keeps coming back to like some sort of resource gathering game. Uh, like going around and mining and chopping down trees and maybe a survival aspect to it. I know it sounds Minecraft, but that's where my head goes every time I see the 8-bit. What about you, Shaper, Salpy?
I uh, I
Uh,
I want a monster tamer. You know, we can't build Pokemon, right? For obvious reasons. Not yet. Not till we get the IP. But I but I would love just some sort of monster tamer because that would throw me back to the same kind of feeling and experience, but you know, it'd be original to adventure together in this community and we get to really have fun with that. But I would love for a monster tamer and battler on an 8-bit set.
I think that would be really
Mine
cool.
would be reconfiguring the Stardew Valley board game to work on the 8-bit world.
That's interesting.
And you can go. We'd have to expand, there'd be expansions and stuff on the 8-bit, so you can get the 8-bit like mines and 8-bit docks and 8-bit, all sorts of stuff, bridges and things. But yeah, I'd love to figure out a good Stardew Valley like game for it.
I agree. I think I'd like to see a game come out of the 8-bit that is really revisitable. I don't know if that's the right word, but like to the point where you can say, well, I started the game, I have my log, or maybe it's in the app one day, and then I'll resume it later. That's one thing that I think tabletop does pretty well. Maybe doesn't do as well as it can yet, and I don't know why that is. Usually, if you want to continue a game later, you kind of have to leave the board out and leave it set up how you left off. I'd love to have it where it's you don't have to leave the board out and then you can come back to it and play it again. Um, and Stardew Valley almost kind of fits in that mode where you start and you're surviving and you're building up your farm and your town. Like, how do you make that accessible to come back to? I think is something that would be really really fun um, to do. And also Tails, Mario and Zelda Adventure. I thought about that too. Like, what if you had square maps or even any shape map, and then you had them have like portals. And then as you go to new maps, you could have like four small maps on your board if you had the edges for it. And then when you go through the portal, you end up in like the next zone, almost like the old school Zelda Game Boy games. So you're kind of traveling and discovering, and then as you go to that next board, maybe the monsters show up, or there's a puzzle that needs to be solved on that in order for you to move forward. I think that would be really cool too.
You do a 2D side scroller on Source. If you got the angles just right, you could build a pretty narrow lane. And then how would you have like the boxes and stuff set up so you could like jump and hit and things and like a dice roller or a deck of like how you move through the map. It's just like a straight line, but it's more about just the hopping up and down.
I think that's something Tails could help us with. Like
Super Smash Brothers.
I'm imagining a game of Source that, like you said, is lined or
Yeah.
a map of Source that's linear and really narrow, and then you have your camera angle like right on the side of it, and you see the character jumping up and down Source areas, and you could even put like little hazards that they have to get over, and maybe there's a D20 for success or some sort of metric that really makes that fun. Super Smash Bros. Why not? Why not? Why not everything? Because we don't have the licenses, so we'll call it Super Source.
It's just Super Source
Sorcerers,
Bros.
Super Sorcerers. I like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of the 8-bit. I think all of our designs so far are really really fun to work on, but there's something about that retro look that really gets me in the mode where I'm like, I want to develop something like back in the day. I don't know, like Paper Mario esque, or Mario, or Zelda, or OG Pokemon, or all of that. So really, really excited. But yeah, I think we'll hit that over the weekend. Is what my hope is. We're working hard to continue advertising, to continue getting the word about Source out there, and hype up the community, which is a big reason why we're having today's call because we have some exciting news to share with the community. Um, and I think we can hop right into that, unless Shaper or Salpy, you want to cover anything else before we hop into today's announcements.
I think that I'm going to announce upcoming little community thing I'm going to do with everybody at the end of the stream. So
Okay,
when we're done.
very cool, very cool. So I'm going to share my screen here for a second and hope that it works okay. And this isn't going to be super fancy or anything, and I'm not going to beat around the bush here either. Let me just make sure it looks okay, and we're going to hit play. Yeah, this is really tough with me doing OBS as well. Let me just make sure I have it all covered here. Window capture.
I'm watching YouTube to see how it pops up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to swap which screen it's sharing for me, so give me a second.
Land on a hex and you have a chance for a random monster battle. Then it turns into a card game for that portion. Oh yeah. Yep, yep, yep. You go into the tall grass and you're just like, oh, you've triggered it.
And then I need to go back to Discord and share a different screen, I
I
think.
do have a card system for that's very much it's something a little project that Hamaro was working on where it's called like evolution, where you kind of go around and you are acquiring different elements for your body, and I have a card game set up as far as dueling between different elements, so that would work in there.
All right. So this is the slideshow from the last presentation that we did, but we have some exciting things to add to it, and that's what I am personally really excited about today. And that is we are making an addition to our
See it on
$200,000
YouTube.
stretch goal. Say it again.
I don't see it on YouTube. Might be
Mm-mm.
just delayed.
Hold on. It should be. All right, I'm gonna send this to you.
Oh, okay, sorry, I was wrong. I was wrong. Yep, 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 yep.
Okay, hold on.
You can go. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, board game hype. Yeah.
I don't have any other screens to handle moderation right now, so I'm going to lean on you, Shaper and
Yeah, I got
Salpy,
it.
for Facebook and YouTube, making sure everything looks good. But what I was getting at is we added something new to our $200,000 stretch goal. And the reason we did this, and there were several reasons, and I'm just prefacing this before we kind of get into that conversation. We heard from the community, hey, we really, really want this thing. And this thing, I think, has been wanted not only by those who want to play Time Strike, but those who want just additional things to put on their source set. So at $200,000, oh, it didn't
See it on
move.
YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. How about you do this so you can stop trolling me? And I will give it to you then. I will stop sharing my screen and you can handle it. Because I am getting trolled. Okay. And Salpy, take this. And you can share your screen. That way I can manage this. Sorry about that, guys. I need like 4 monitors instead of 2, unfortunately. Yeah, that's what we're doing. This is all part of our master plan to build anticipation. Got it, Salp? All right. Why don't you go live with that?
Okay, hopping ahead to.
I don't see
So we
your
talked
share
about.
right now. In Discord, you're not sharing.
Yeah, it stopped. Of course. Screen, share the whole screen.
There you go. All right, very good. So we talked about the 8-bit environment theme. We talked about, you can go to the next slide. It's not going to unveil it yet. We're going to do a little demo of the grip mats later, but what we were leading up to with my previous statement was everybody's been looking for these to complete their maps a little bit more. So as you guys have seen in our promotional video, we have walls. And at $200,000, every single copy of Time Strike will come with 6 of these walls that you see on this screen, and we're going to get you better renderings. But right now, it's going to be these walls that you see here. Every single copy of Time Strike at no additional cost will now be shipped with 6 walls. And there's a reason that we went this route. There is a rule in the Time Strike rulebook that is tied to walls, and originally we were talking about that going to be removed to some extent and releasing it later. However, because of the community's desire for these walls, we decided, hey, let's bundle them in. Let's make sure that they are available to the community. And the nice thing about this is you're not getting any increased cost on Time Strike. It's going to be included in that $30 bundle that you buy via tier, or as part of the $45 add-on that you can add on Time Strike. And this will be included for Time Strike uncolored as well as Time Strike pre-colored sets. So every set will come with these 6 walls. Now, I see a question in the chat, and that question is, can we buy the walls individually? And the answer at this time, and I think I might hand it off to Chris to talk to it, as he's a little bit more eloquent than I am with this. But at this time, logistically and as a company, we just don't see it being plausible, at least not at our current stretch goals, to offer these walls as an add-on. And the reason for that is logistics and shipping. We also think that typically to get walls in the tabletop community is probably for 6 walls almost about $30. So we consider it to be a really, really good entry point to say, hey, if you want the walls and you have Time Strike, you're going to get them automatically. But if you want the walls and you haven't maybe backed Time Strike yet, now it becomes even more worthwhile to get in on Time Strike for that $30 that it's going to cost additionally to your source pack. And Chris, if you want to add anything to that, we thought that was just the way of thinking here.
Yeah, sure. So the point of these walls, right, is to help for line of sight. It's to help you build sort of modular and fun constructions while you're playing Time Strike. It's going to be a fun and obviously deeply integrated mechanic in the game, but we are thinking of building in the future separate systems of walls that will enable you to do all sorts of different things for all sorts of different types of experiences, and that will be available at a later date as a separate product. For this Kickstarter, we just don't see us being able to create the volume necessary to productize this as a standalone product. So it's only going to come with Time Strike for now, but that does not mean that we won't have new wall products and or line of sight blocking products that will be standalone in the future. So we're definitely working towards it. It really is just a numbers game. It comes down to the volume and us being able to provide this product at a reasonable price to everyone. So don't worry, there are more wall systems coming, and we're very excited about those. But for now, these Time Strike walls are going to be a fantastic way for you to provide line of sight and use those deep mechanics that we have in the game.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent point as well. So we've been talking about modular walls. These are the Time Strike walls, and these are something that we have had in the works for a while. And, we've been just figuring out the best way to deliver it to the community. We have a larger vision for what I'll call source modular walls. However, they need time, they need money, and again, it's just not something that we see as feasible during the Kickstarter, and unless we hit an astronomical number. And we don't want to make any promises to the community that we can't deliver on. We are very, very, very strict on ourselves when we are coming up with these stretch goals to ensure that we can deliver and we don't end up with a, hey guys, we promised this, but we couldn't make it happen. That is the most important thing to us, is doing things that are plausible and doing things that are really, really just accessible. And like Chris said, we would need to offer these separately. We would need such a large quantity that it doesn't make sense to do it now. However, to bundle it in with Time Strike and say, hey, you get the whole game plus you get your walls, now it makes it so that it's really accessible at no additional cost to those who are already backing the Time Strike tier. And maybe somebody says, well, I want the walls. I was on the fence about Time Strike, and now I can kind of get both of those together and get my walls anyway and use them for my purposes. However, like Shaper said, that doesn't mean walls won't be offered in the future on their own. They absolutely will be, just may not be part of this Kickstarter. So
and they're going to be awesome walls.
They're going to be awesome walls, yes.
Brace yourselves. But I think that I just want to double tap on this as well, just so that everybody kind of understands. To make this a standalone product would imply its own packaging, its own design for packaging, And then therefore, when we get to the point of fulfillment and shipping, we would need to ship these on their own individual pallet. So the cost implications of providing this as a separate standalone product, they just don't make sense right now.
Yeah.
One thing we try strive for is just making sure that you're getting the best value for whatever you support us with. And it's just not, for us to figure out the wall situation, we'd probably have to charge way more than, we probably could, just to like cover our bases and stuff. So it's,
Yep.
you'll just wait for the new ones. But yeah, you're getting these as part of the package, no additional cost. So
Yeah, and Ninja in the chat, I completely understand where you're coming from. I don't think we want this to sound like an unfortunate compromise, but we want to be really, really transparent with the community as to why this decision was made. Because we have individuals that are reaching out saying, well, we want walls. And we took a step back and we said, okay, how do we make this possible? And this is how we make it possible. And we want to give walls out on their own, right? We want people to be able to purchase walls on their own, but it has to be feasible, it has to be accessible, and it can't be at an astronomical price point to to the consumer. Otherwise, it's just not the message that we're trying to send as a company. So we're not trying to downplay it at all. We want our pioneers, our backers to understand where we're coming from. And that way, if somebody asks you about it, you can communicate it, and then we can continue communicating that consistent message. Now, if our numbers, go higher than what we're kind of trending towards right now, then we might have a different approach later on, and we might say, hey, here's the next round of stretch goals, and maybe we'll reach them in. But we can't make any promises like that right now. We want to be really, really, like I said, transparent with what we're able to do, and be able to realistically deliver it to the community. So just want to make sure that's crystal clear. And thank you all. I hope you guys are excited as we are, because we were like, yes, we can get them walls. Very big deal. Everybody wants them. So we're pumped to get you guys walls as part of this Kickstarter. And personally, I see this as a very, very attainable stretch goal for us, especially the way we're trending right now with 17 days left in the Kickstarter. I think it's a big win for us. So I'll put a poll up later. I really want to see what the community's reaction is, and how they think about this, how they think about the approach. Maybe you guys have a really clever idea we haven't thought of. We're always looking for that as well. So I just want to say thank you, for pushing us and being very clear with your expectations and holding us to a level that we want to hold ourselves to, and saying, hey, we want this, we want this, we want this. When you say that, we are listening, and we are sitting here and we're figuring out how to make that happen. And this will continue to happen for the life of Adventure Together. We are a community run company, and this is what it means, and this is how we'll continue to show you we're listening. You're the ones that are driving the future and the vision of open source, and we are here simply to support you. That is our goal as a company. So thank you. I hope you guys are really, really excited. And Caster Troy just put it. Basically, you could say 6 free walls if you back Time Strike. It's a great way to look at it, and we hope that the community sees it that way, and we're gonna be positioning it that way as well.
a new concept for modular, buildable, layered, all sorts of thing walls for phase two, Skull Angel.
Yeah.
We're just
So
not ready to. Yeah, it's still in the engineering phase.
yeah. So 200,000 stretch goal, Skull Angel, like Southby said, you get 6 free walls in your box of Time Strike, and that makes walls accessible to everybody, and at no extra cost. Still only $30 extra to bundle that into Time Strike, and we think that's a really great deal considering the cost of other walls on the market today. You can get all of Time Strike plus 6 walls for $30. Hopefully that's exciting to the community. So, Shaper, you got some things to show today, I heard. On to the next.
You heard right.
All right.
Is there a segue into this, or should I just get going?
There is no visual segue other than our beautiful voices, except for mine. So, however you want to approach this, I am all in. But we did, in the announcement earlier, we said we are going to give you guys a preview of our grip mats that we are partnering with another company on. And we're super excited. Shaper just got his demo, I guess you would call them, Shaper, his demo mats in. He's been playing with them, he's been putting source on them. So now today, Skull Angel, I will get you some images on how the walls link sit on hexes. I'll put them in the chat. But Shaper is going to show off how Source sits on our grip mats and how it performs as far as sliding and the way that you can assemble it. So we'll give him a minute here to get set up, and as soon as he's ready to share.
Well, uniquely the way it performs is non-sliding, and I am going to talk through some of the sizes. When does this unlock? This unlocks at, what's our stretch goal?
175,000.
175. All right. Be excited about this one. I'm going to turn on my camera. You know, you guys can see me. I'm sorry I'm orange. It's just the lighting in my kitchen.
No, you're an Oompa Loompa.
Oompa Doompa.
But let me first so I'll just pan down on what you have here. So I want to preface this, but right now what I have in front of me is a grip mat. It is a neoprene mat, but it uses a proprietary technology to allow it to grip whatever you place on its surface. Uniquely, that grip technology is a horizontal force blocker. It is not a vertical force blocker. This is not a sticky mat. You can put your hands on it. It feels fine. Everything feels good. And this technology, for all intents and purposes, is like the absolute perfect marriage with Source for the reason that I just listed. Now, a couple fun things I should mention is that when we unlock this stretch goal, we're going to be unlocking a whole bunch of different types of mats. So we are going to be unlocking a mat at 30 by 48 inches. We're going to be unlocking a mat at 30 by 72 inches, a 36 by 48 mat, a 36 by 72 mat, a 48 by 48 mat, and a 60 by 44, your traditional sort of FLG table size mat. So that is a lot of sizing options. I know a lot of people have been asking. Nice Oompa Loompa gif. A lot of people have been asking about. You make me want to turn my light off. A lot of people have been asking about the different size mats that you can have. So anyway, here it is. What you should know about this mat in particular is it is just a sample that was sent to me so that I could demonstrate it to the community and you guys could get a sense for it. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but you can see the textures here. You're going to be able to print these in high resolution detail, and the detail will look, when we send our art files to the vendor, just as good as our tiles do, if not enhanced by the fact that they're going to have an overlay. So a Source tile overlay that will be printed to an exacting specification so that it fits perfectly with the Source system, and placement will become super simple. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate today exactly how you can build a map on this and exactly what the advantages of using it is. So with no further ado, also, variety of environments will be printed on this, variety of biome types. I think one of the most obvious and exciting is going to be liquids, right? Because it makes a great base layer for your mat.
Yeah.
I also want to add that I can't share the details just yet, but the founder is going to offer for the life of the campaign a discount uniquely on the store using a discount code if you would like to use that, and we'll get that out to you. Basically, this is a foundation for your Source map. And if you want to build maps without edges, if you're a war gamer, if you want to lay down the largest play area you possibly can as quickly as you possibly can, if that's what you're optimizing for, this is something you're going to want. So,
and Chris, I just want
no
to
further
I want to let the pioneers know, and everybody who's tuning in, this is also a patented technology that we're kind of working with the actual founder on to bring this to a reality and really be one of the first people to partner with them to build their own kind of line of grip mats.
Yeah. Look, something we are never going to stop doing is looking for the latest and greatest technologies and the best possible value we can bring back to the community and people who build on Source. I'm constantly out there in the marketplace talking to people, looking for what we can bring back to you guys. This is especially exciting because the team behind grip mats also has an in-house dedicated team of artists that's going to be able to take our biomes from our tiles. And we already have some of these designed. You've seen our neoprene mats, but they're going to be able to go ahead and print them on their grip mats. So again, all of this will be a cohesive system. When you're laying down a foundation for your Source map, it's going to match the themes and the environments that you already have and expect. And aside from liquids, we'll still do things like snow. We'll do things like mud. We'll do things like grass. And we're just going to keep coming out with new artwork for this. But as soon as this stretch goal gets unlocked, you guys are going to start to see the same themes and biomes that you've come to know and love from the campaign applied to these mats. And you can go ahead and choose and select from a wide variety of sizes and a wide variety of biomes. But this is probably the coolest thing about this. So I'm going to go ahead and take a 24 here with grass. Again,
Sorry
I hate
for the
this lighting.
color.
Give me 2 seconds.
Whoa.
Well, that helped.
Is it
Completely
is it too
changed.
dark
Yeah.
or is it fixed?
No,
No, it's
good.
way
so much
better. It's way better.
Okay. So normally with a neoprene mat, this could become somewhat problematic because as you place it down, you run the risk of it sliding, and you don't want that. You run the risk of someone, and people bring this up all the time, bumping the table. What happens when you bump the table? So normally the edge is solved for all those problems, and it's not an issue. But with the neoprene mat, it still could be. So these grip mats uniquely, as you place down a tile, all you have to do is similar to how you're building. So when I'm building a stack of tiles, for instance, just a light press fit. I just kind of push down slightly to keep it in place, and it's more or less locked rotationally. So you place your tile and you just give it a little light press fit, something like that. And when I go to push it, I gotta put my whole body into it. It doesn't go anywhere anymore. It lives here now. In fact, I could probably move the entire mat before this tile would start to move, which is pretty cool. That's the horizontal force that it prevents. Now, if I want to pick it up again, vertical is no problem. So,
did it make a
go ahead,
sound when you
start.
picked it up?
It did. I think it
Yeah, did you hear
almost
it?
indented a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Kind of
Satisfying,
stuck to it.
right?
Oh, that
Yeah.
is super
Okay.
satisfying. It's like Velcro.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right? So anyway, I go ahead and I place this here. Let's say I want to start. I do a light press fit. Come in. I'll place another tile. Okay. Now you've got 2 tiles, which normally, if they were separate, you could have a problem, right? Got to move that. What happens? It is locked. It's not going anywhere at all, no matter what I do. Okay. Now the same is true for individual tiles. So I can put one right here. Start to build these out. Put a couple of roads. Okay. And you've got a bunch of single tiles, right? And you think that these specifically might have a problem. What I go ahead and do is I do a light press fit.
They asked if
Get
you
into
can
place.
push from the side with only one finger, Chris. Just one finger from directly
very
from the side. Yep. Push hard. Yeah, it's not even
This is
moving
hard.
a little bit. Yeah.
It doesn't budge. I'm thrilled with the quality of these mats. I'm truly astonished that they exist. It is a solution we didn't know was out there and one we sorely needed. So I'm thrilled that they exist. So same thing with these individual tiles. Once I've put them here and I've kind of given them a light press fit, I go to shove. I push with my single finger. They are staying where they are.
Yeah, it seems like unless you put
So-
a little bit of vertical force under them, they're not going to move horizontally at all. But as soon as you give it a little vertical, bum. Yeah, that's great.
And what's great about that is exactly how Source was designed to work. So
Yep.
I place down this way, no problem, and then it's locked. It doesn't go anywhere from here because the way that the tiles were designed was to prevent horizontal movement. And so the grip mat does almost exactly the same thing, making it the absolute perfect pairing for the system. Now, in addition to that, your minis will work the same way. So once there is a source grid here, you'd see this very light, kind of not interfering with your biome outline to help guide you on where to start building and how to place. But a mini will, be able to walk across just like this, and vertical is no problem. But when I stick it down and I give it a light press fit, and I push that base, this mini just kind of stays there.
A little bit, but
Right,
yeah.
how much I push on this sucker, he's not going. Now, if I want to push him up here, he'll move. There you go. There's his vertical. But its horizontal base stays locked where you want it to lock. So again, I am thrilled about these mats. They really change the way you're going to be able to play with Source and quickly build up your world. So I'm just going to build here and have a little fun.
Something I was
I've
thinking
done
about
enough
too
stuff.
is like you don't have to literally press down every part you put in. You can build your map and then do like one single press for each area, right? And it'll cover the whole board, getting kind of set into place on these grip mats. So it's not like, hey, I put a hex
Absolutely.
down, I need to press each individual one. It's okay, like right there, what you just did, that kind of pressed down on 2 different pieces there. Yeah.
Correct. And I should mention, because this is really important, and I think a lot of people misunderstand this, that you haven't had your hands on Source yet to realize this, but even without a grip mat, this stays pretty much where you want it to stay. I think because you have these larger configurations of tiles, placing them down, and then once you take a bigger tile, so I just placed 2 individuals here, right? And you sort of bridge it with a larger tile like this, none of those are going anywhere now. Those are locked. The second you get to layer 2, it starts to lock layer 1 in place. So even if you just really wanted to build on your table with source without using the edges, it's possible. Personally, I love the edges. They have component management in them, and that for me is a big draw. And also, I love to be able to set the size of the board before I start to play and build. But and when you do that as well with edges, you can build from anywhere. So you can start to build from the outside, build your way in, build from here. Just kind of go where your imagination takes you. When you're building without it, you really have to start from a central location and build off that location.
Yep.
So those are really the only 2 differences. But even without these grip mats, Source works pretty darn well without the edges. I just want to make that clear to everybody who's kind of confused. Oh, they're not interlocking. Oh, does that mean that you're not going to be able to use them without the edges? No, it does not. In fact, we've played several games without the edges. It's totally possible. But this grip mat just kind of takes it to a whole other level where now you have sort of non-interlocking design and a mat that is perfectly designed to keep everything exactly where you want it, no matter what happens, no matter what you bump. But yes, the best way to build off this, obviously right now because they don't have the grid, is to start in a central location and build off. When the grid's here, build anywhere you want. Put an island over there, put an island over here. Just have fun. You just sort of follow the base layer and let it take you where you want it to take you.
Something I'm thinking about too, Chris, is even, the mat actually enhances the edges as well, because now everything is kind of just like, okay, nice and gripped to the table. Like you can have a wooden table. I think the only time where you wouldn't want it is if you kind of wanted to slide the board to one direction or another, and you're like, well, I have the grip mat, no sliding allowed, really. But yeah, it would even enhance the experience with the edges, at least from what I see here.
Well, one of the things I'm most excited about with these grip mats as well is, in theory, if it's small enough, maybe about as big as you see right here, maybe like a half an FLG size. And I haven't tested it yet, so don't quote me on it. But you might be able to pick your whole board up and take it somewhere else. You see a lot of these solutions out there that don't look great, like, oh, let's slide a piece of cardboard under it or a piece of foam or something, and that'll help us move it when we're done. You could do that. But if you want it to look great the whole time, this is not a bad way. You'll just be able to pick up your mat and kind of move it. And I believe, but yet I haven't tested it, the grip mat should kind of hold your map where you put it.
Yeah. So
and here I am again, leaning on it.
The Pioneers want to see if dice roll well on this mat, Chris. Do you have dice that you could roll?
Yeah, of course. I'll get some dice. Let me put some.
Oh, don't put the pencil walls. Oh, no.
Just real quick, I just want to finish what I'm doing here. 1 second. Okay.
Oh, there's the... Oh, he's showing off so many things. Oh, my gosh. Nobody screenshot right now. Oh, my gosh.
That's a rideable
that is
dwarven
yeah.
ocean vessel.
And you guys could see actually how we cut off the bottom of those wheels that go through the water, so it actually looks like it's in the water from depth. So that is that's something you guys will see in the future. But yeah, you can fit up to 3 miniatures in that boat and travel around the water with it. Oh, you guys have so much. We have so much.
Boat expansion.
The Time Strike boat expansion? You heard it here first, folks.
You get materials, you build a boat.
I'm on a boat. Source boat.
Source boat.
Source boat. Why does that remind me of The Office?
We've had some good
Chris, everybody wants the boat now. Good job.
I just want you guys to understand there's so much going on behind the scenes here at Adventure Together, and we have just a wonderland of objects and custom designs made by us. This is a fun one. It's just a dwarven vessel.
I love it.
Which
so
miniatures actually fit inside of.
Is Jake fit in that?
This is what's that?
Put Jake in there.
Jake fit in that? Or is he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's on a boat.
He's on a boat.
Jake's on a boat.
You can ride the boat.
You heard? Oh my.
No, we have a variety of this stuff that's constantly being developed. And again, as soon as we can find a path to getting it into your hands, we will.
Absolutely.
Roll the
Absolutely.
dice
Okay.
in that in your
I
left
haven't rolled these
hand.
dice yet, but my expectation is that they will roll as intended, and the grip mat will hopefully prevent things like them falling off the table. I don't know. I haven't tested it before, but
Where are
let's
you
have
gonna roll at? We just gotta make sure we could see it. I would say
I'll roll.
slide the board over, but it's not possible with the grip mat.
I can't. I could slide the whole mat.
No, it's okay.
Here's my roll.
Oh, they rolled
So
fine.
But
they
you
roll
can
just the way
see
you
it
think. Now
grips
I'm gonna
them.
go ahead. And
That's
test this.
cool,
I don't know
though.
if it works now, but maybe it stops them falling off the table. So let's test it. Let's say
You're
I'm
gonna give
one of
us an
those.
edge view. All right.
I'm a little overeager. One of those overeager rollers.
Oh, some of them really
No,
do.
It stops.
they still
Yeah,
can't
it
work.
stops them.
Well, that's kind of
I
cool.
think there's definitely enough traction to
I
slow
want
them
to
down a
light
bit.
my whole house with this on every table.
Now something,
So
yeah, that looks really good. Something I want to talk about also with the Pioneers is the grip mats. I think are going to be. We originally kind of said that your neoprene mats would get updated to grip mats automatically. I think we may have them as an additional add-on is going to be the more viable way to get it into your hands, but wait for more news on that soon. We're going to discuss whether we can automatically upgrade or if it'll be a separate add-on. So we will, of course, keep you informed. That way you can update your pledge if we do have this additional grip mat add-on or if they're automatically being upgraded.
it's a good question, and Jason, I will test it. So I roll,
Nice slide.
slide.
I don't think they have enough weight, and you're not pressing them in, right? I think that's something that's kind of key with these mats.
Let me
About
try and
this.
press.
I think they'll still move.
Well,
Less.
here's the thing, though. There's
I don't
something.
know.
The unique thing about the source tiles is because they have the honeycomb on the bottom.
Yeah.
When you actually push them in, they're going to get a better grip because it's not just a flat surface. It's actually like
Yeah.
kind of contoured and pushing into it. So
Yeah.
you're getting.
Chris is pushing pretty good there.
Yeah.
And
I'm
they're
not
moving.
weak.
He's not weak.
I promise.
Later, Tails. What can you bench?
What can you bench? We're being asked.
How much can I
Chris.
bench? Listen, we're not going to reveal this on today's stream. So
All right.
next one.
I'll have to do a Kickstarter update. Make sure people are tuning in.
We'll do a source workout.
Yeah, make sure everybody knows.
We'll call it a
Okay.
source out. All right. So this was the
here we are,
preview
guys.
of grip mats.
Any other questions while we still got my camera on? We got it out. Speak
Otherwise,
now.
I think Salpy has some exciting things to talk about. Trees on grip mat. They want to see a tree on a grip mat.
Yeah, but that's another, flat surface. It's not going to stick like that. I think not. I don't think anything's going to stick as the source tiles.
Yeah, the source tiles I think are going to be the best. But yeah, it depends on where you push them from, right? You could always tip it over from
works.
the top.
It works pretty well. Now, the interesting thing, though, and the same holds true with anything you put on it. It's when you put the force on the upper half of the object, it doesn't matter at all. It just goes. But the base of it is pretty firmly locked in the second you stick these down. Grip Mats does a great job of sending out instructions for how to care for your mats. Comes again, like I said, all shapes and sizes. They already do overlays. Why is that important? That's super important because one of the quests that I was on when I was building neoprene mats for Source was to find a vendor that really appreciated that the print needed to be precise, perfect. Because if it was off even slightly, then the system wouldn't overlay correctly. So Grip Mats has been doing this for a very long time. I think they have something like 18,000 sales to date. And they have assured me time and time again that is one of their highest priorities, to make sure that overlay is absolutely perfect. So we have a set of source headed to them. So as they start to build out these designs, we'll start to release them to the community. You guys can see them. And you'll be able to see the hex overlays, and we'll be able to test and make sure the quality is exactly what is required.
To respond to Skull Angel, what you're going to see is a fully designed map where it's like, you're not going to see hexes. You're going to see just kind of a
seamless texture.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you're going to have like slightly opaque, slightly colored hexes that are built on top of that, so you can see where the hexes should be as far as the layout of the map.
Yeah, it's almost like a gentle
And we're gonna
outline, right?
exactly, and we're gonna
Yeah.
experiment with a few ways to make that work best. One could be that you have the full outline; it's just very low opacity. The other could be that we just use the corners of the 6 corners of each hex
Mm.
to sort of just kind of give you a sense. So the idea is,
All
always
lines,
we are
yeah.
focused on the best possible level of immersion. So the textures will be seamless. They will not look like repeating patterns of tiles, but they will be the same artworks so that they blend perfectly. Um, but they're going to be seamless as opposed to omnidirectional and confined to a single hex space. And then additionally, yeah, we will play with the overlay to make sure that it does not distract or take away from the feeling of immersion that you should get from these mats. I'm super thrilled about these. We're going to put the same level of attention, care, love, and just like perfectionism into designing these as we did with Source itself. So be excited for these grip mats. I know I am. Um, and man, really cool technology. Love that this exists. And I think one of the reasons they were able to make this proprietary is that there are mats like this, but the major complaint and drawback has been is that they're sticky.
Yeah.
And right now I can tell you I've got my hands on these. I've been playing with them for 2 days now. It's not sticky at all. It doesn't feel goopy. It doesn't feel gross. And you're allowed to play with it in this way. There are going to be some care washing and care instructions for you to take the best possible care of this to make sure it always retains its grip. But obviously, you don't want to spill things on these. You don't want to, drop a beer on it. This would not be the technology to do that with. So if you take great care of this mat, it'll continually let you build maps with Source unrestricted. And again, if you're a wargamer, this is the solution for you. Go ahead, you get a giant 24 hex, get a bunch of 24 hex packs, a neoprene mat, lay them across, you're ready to battle, and as fast as you saw me set this up. Is it Mountain Dew proof? And Jason, super not Mountain Dew proof, but the tiles are. They definitely are. In fact, I'm gonna get a 2 liter bottle of Mountain Dew and I'm gonna just submerge a tile in it and I'll update you daily.
The great science experiment. All right. So I think we're ready to hit the next stage here. Shaper, we can move on to Salpy. I think you had some exciting things you wanted to share today.
I've been experimenting with just rendering and getting hyped up for the bit art about to be unlocked, the 8-bit. And let me just
Are you gonna share
share my
screen?
screen.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll do the whole screen again. Sure it goes.
Just give me 1 second. Make sure it's all up and running. Oh boy, what do you have here, Salpy? Okay.
So I'm gonna be releasing some cool renders
That's a
of
nice
the bit.
donut.
Yeah, yeah, for scale. I'm going to be releasing some nice renders of the bit art so everybody can start. Now, this is a complete starter set. This is hex for hex, blank to all the different resources, what starter set's going to look like. And I'm going to get a bunch of different shots and kind of hype everyone up. But as I was doing this, uh, one thing I found that I wanted to do was just more environments, because everyone wants more environments. So, and I didn't ask for permission from Ninjason first, but what I did was I took all of his bitart X's and threw them on the source map. So, what I'm going to start in the source forum on one of the channels is allow you guys to upload or ask for different types of boards, and we're just going to have some fun. Just come up with ideas. If you guys send me files for things that you want to see on the map, I can put those together. I can pump out one or two a day, here and there, just to, have you guys start experimenting and see what your imagination would look like putting it together on the source board. So
We're
I
gonna
just want to
call
get
this
the community
effort
more involved.
"Bring Your World to Life."
Yeah, source your imagination.
Source your imagination, bring your world to life. So we'll have a new channel. I think that's a great idea, Salpy. So Bob, if you're listening somewhere in the ether,
No, I'm just doing it in the source forum. No new channels. We got lots of channels.
okay,
I'm
we'll
just doing
use
it in
the
the
source
source forum,
forum.
start a new thread, and there's just gonna be pictures. Um, the easiest thing you guys can do is just upload like square JPEG files of what you want to see on the different hexes. Give me some names of what it's supposed to represent, and I'll do some different environment backgrounds and things, and we'll just have some fun.
Awesome. This is really cool.
And
So everybody, yeah, submit your designs. Let's see what they look like on Source. Just because we're only, doing Kickstarter now doesn't mean we can't and always are look into the future. So let's start getting those space biomes thought of. Let's start working on those cyberpunks, those cities, those forests, whatever you want to see on Source. Salpy will bring it to life. It's really awesome. Those water tiles look very much
yeah, I
like Stardew
love the
Valley to me,
water.
I tell you that.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
Stardew
the water's
Valley.
neon cool.
Well done there, Ninja-san. Very cool. Also, something we're working towards, and I'm not making any promises as to the timeline yet, but we started doing a little bit of playtesting with some of the community members. So Ninja actually had a really fun, very simple game that he built out on on the tabletop simulator system, and we played yesterday for like an hour and a half, and we had a really good time. So I encourage more members of the community to say, hey, let's test an idea on Source. Salpy is working on spinning up kind of like a template that we'll be able to use in Tabletop Simulator, so that it's not like, oh, you can only play Time Strike. It's more like you have the ability to stack hexes and things like that, and then build your own game out within that. And we want to start using that for playtesting. So look forward to that in the not so distant future. Really exciting stuff that I think everybody wants to see.
Clarification:
Yeah, go ahead.
it won't be using in Tabletop Simulator. We won't be using the actual files for the source tiles. We'll just be using some pre-built hexes and things. But I'm gonna port in all the assets as far as the environments, so we can build with them, and we can just start playtesting with the community a bit and start getting some feedback, and that will come side by side with the rulebook release.
So Salpy, we have a question in Discord that I think you're best suited to answer. Just to be
Mhm.
clear, one Shadow of Fear box supports 3 players. So if I want 4 players, would I have to buy two?
No. So, the way we kind of scale Shadow each box of Time Strike is that it kind of comes down to how many characters you choose. So, at a 2v2 game, or sorry, at a 1v1 game, there will be, or sorry, Shadow of Fear will have 8 draftable characters. So the idea is that when you do a 1v1, you can draw, that initial 3 characters uh, per team. So your friend can draw 3, you can draw 3, and you can have a battle. Then when you get up to the 3 player count, then it kind of cuts down a little bit. You can each draw 2, so 2, 4, 6. Oh wait, no, you could draw.
You could
Yeah, you could each draw 2 characters, and then if you go up to 4, you could each draw 1 character. You could still do 2 characters.
you could do two.
Yeah, you
You
could
could
still
do
do
two.
2 characters. Yeah. So as we release more and more boxes of Time Strike, that count is going to just grow. So you're going to be able to, even with one more box, you're going to get another 8 set of draftable characters. So you have 16 draftable characters, and you can start having bigger and bigger battles. But you can always scale it to, the play time you're looking for in the session, because once you have 4 players and you got like 3 characters each, it's going to be a big, long battle, which is probably going to be an epic battle. But
It,
if you don't have hours and hours to spend on that, then you could say, all right, let's do 4 players. We're each gonna draw 1 character each or 2 characters each, which will speed up the flow of the game.
in
But
in
yeah, you'll be able to. Yep, go ahead.
No, I just want to clarify as well, right? I think what Salpy is getting at a higher level is that Time Strike can be played multiple ways. Now, the existing rule set will recommend 3 characters per player, but let's say I have 6 people over that night. I have 8 miniatures to choose from, character miniatures, draftable character miniatures. I'll be very clear there. So I have 8 characters to choose from. So in theory, I could even play up to 6, and I would say, hey, we'll do 2 teams of 3, and each individual on a team would be responsible for 1 character. So you could actually scale it and even do a 4v4, and you could say each team chooses 4 characters each, and each individual plays a single character during their turn. Or you could do 2 teams, or 4 teams of 2, and each player has 1 character each. So I would never ever say, hey, it's limited to only 3 players. There are ways that you can configure Time Strike to say, hey, I can play it up to 8 players because I have 8 draftable characters, and get everybody in around the table. They just may not be responsible for 2 characters each. They may be responsible for 1 character each. So in theory, the original rule set, like I said, it says draft 3 characters. That's your 1v1. That could even be your 2v2 if you have enough characters. Um, but in theory, everybody could only play 1 character, or everybody could play 2. So you can distribute it in a way that you can actually get up to 8 players around a base set of Time Strike.
And I want to add to that one of the design goals from the very start, 5 years ago, was to make sure that every mechanic in the game was scalable, to make sure that everything that was designed was flexible to work that way. So it's not like, oh yeah, just do whatever you want, different players, it'll be fine. You can figure it out. No, we figured it out in advance. So all the mechanics will tell you for what is it, for every 2 players or for up to 3 players, do X or do Y or do Z. So by you changing the player counts, it does not break the game in any way, shape, or form. We obviously have ways that we would recommend you play it, but you really, if you have enough player characters and you have enough people, sit down and play. So it really is super, super flexible. Just as the system's modular and scalable, we wanted the game and the mechanics to be the same.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. And we've talked about this before. The X Pack is in development. It's not like sitting far away. It's not going to be a part of this Kickstarter most likely, but the X Pack, we have over 44 characters designed with rules, with abilities, with passives, with stats, everything. And we have X Packs that are just right around the corner. So for those of you who are like, well, I want to get in on Time Strike Shadow of Fear. Right behind that is Heart of Desire, and then right behind that is the next one. So get excited. Go ahead. Salpy.
Just note, X-Pack is probably not the right term. I had this question a couple of times. If you buy Time Strike Shadow of Fear, you can play the whole game. If you only buy Time Strike Heart of Desire, you can still play the whole game. Each box of Time Strike will be an entire game where you don't need any other boxes. You don't need this isn't a base set. This is just an iteration of Time Strike. And the more Time Strikes you pick up, the more bosses you can play with against different characters and different draft different teams with different mechanics. It all just combines. But each set of Time Strike, no matter which one you choose to jump in on, will have a full game just built into it. And you can,
So
if you have one and your buddy has one, you can just go and combine them too.
yeah, so each is a standalone product, but they go together. They work together. You can put
Perfectly.
them combined. So if a friend buys Heart Desire and you got Shadow of Fear, you can both get together on game night,
Use
bring both your
miniatures.
boxes, combine your source sets, combine your miniatures, combine your cards. You've got one big awesome game to play. So yeah, expansion pack is not the right way to think about it. I think that if we're going to release expansion packs, we don't have any plans for those right now, but they'd probably be around card editions or line of sight blocker editions, or new exciting mechanics we try and
Thing
introduce.
I'll add too is that it's more there's a chance it's going to be more than just the characters, bosses, and stuff. Like let's say we hit our goal for the walls, and then Time Strike Shadow of Fear comes with walls. Well, maybe Heart of Desire does not come with walls. It comes with something else you can build that has a new mechanic and it's a new action in the game that's only part of that version. So we're gonna experiment a little bit with like how the different games are gonna play and intermingle, and you're not only going to get new characters and stuff, but you're going to get new mechanics, hopefully, that will just tie into each other as well. Because of our action system is very dynamic and allows you to just kind of add on and take away from. So we're super excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Skull Angel's point there, standalone expansions, is probably the correct term because
Yep.
that's what it would be listed as on Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Standalone
Okay.
expansion.
Well,
Standalone
that's how we'll
expansion.
refer to them for the future.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
because
gonna
Board
be
Game
really.
Geek's got very specific words for each thing. So
Yeah, I think something we need to just work into our communication, and I think the pioneers understand this, is like fear is the first boss, and then you're going to have desire, and then you're going to have another boss and another boss, and each of those bosses are going to have their own unique mechanics, their own unique experience, and you can even put both down on the board. Let's say you have 12 players and you're like, well, one boss is not threatening enough, so I'm going to put fear and desire down on a large board. We're going to have a 12-player game, and now you have two bosses wreaking havoc across the void. And I think that's really, really going to be fun. Oh, four bosses at least. and more. Um, for a video game perspective, I always kind of think of it as like Monster Hunter World to an extent, where it's like, oh, there's a new boss to go out and hunt. It's not exactly like that, but it is a new experience with a new set of mechanics, and then you'll also unlock these new lores. Like in Heart of Desire, you're going to get access to the Lamplighters, you're going to get access to the She-Kind, and you'll go from Shadow of Fear, Heart of Desire, and then to another combination of our four races and maybe new races that we already have in the works.
Guys, stop me if I can't talk about this, but can I talk about on demand and how that between releases?
Yes, I'm okay with it.
I can talk about that, right?
I don't.
No,
No, Tony
No,
said
I
no.
shouldn't talk about that.
no,
I
not
think that
yet.
I think we want to keep that one a secret of what if it's what you guys have told me before.
I
then
tried.
That's a secret
tried.
still.
No, not yet. If we start it up, we need to have it more fleshed out for the to easily communicate exactly, like more just like look and see
Actually
how we're gonna
showing
do
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But
But
Shaper, look at him grinning over there.
let
I
me
really want to
answer
talk about it so
LL
bad.
Kool-Aid. Are cards unique, or there's a bunch of duplicate spoils, fish, and quests? So quests will be specific per boss. There's going to be overlap in each of them. There's going to be uniqueness in each of them, right? So like some of the quests are just to attack other players. That's going to be consistent throughout most of the bosses. But the different bosses will have different mechanics built in. So some of the quests will be specific to the boss that you're playing. So you'll have to have the right quest cards when you're playing with certain bosses. Spoils. Wait, what was it? The loot system will have some repeating items and actually a lot of new items because all the gear. So the loot deck comes with a piece of gear from every draftable character comes with it. So Mara will have her piece of gear in it. Roland will, Luxuria, etc. And then the next deck, you'll get all new pieces of gear that you can play with that tie to the character that's in that box. You'll have some stuff like you'll have some repeat fish, fish or fish, and but we'll add some flair to that as well. So you're not going to get 100% a new deck, but you're going to get unique things in every box in every deck that pertains to the story we're trying to tell with it.
We have another question. Can we get different art on the expansion duplicates? I'm wondering if each expansion, as far as artwork, would have like its own theme around it.
I think we'd probably, if we go to that new if we kind of go for a funding round for each expansion and say, hey, we're gonna just do this is just the new expansion and it comes with its own custom theme that you can only get through buying pre-starting the expansion. I think that would be fun, and I think that'd be a unique thing for the community to collect too, right? It's like, what is the world of Time Strike Heart of Desire, and it'll be a limited run on that type of biome or set a theme that you can get by backing it, and then you can have that, in your pocket forever. I think that would be a cool idea.
Hmm. So let's do a little recap. We are over 3. We said this was going to be a short stream, but I don't think that will
Right.
ever be the case. What are you laughing about over there, Salpy?
It's never short. It's
Oh, okay.
always.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I think that's a good thing. Everybody. I appreciate. We had a large amount of individuals. I think this Friday 2 o'clock slot is going to work really well for the community. Some people can't, so that's why we recorded on YouTube. We recorded on Facebook. But for everybody that tuned in today, I just want to really say thank you. You guys are always bringing the excitement. You're bringing the questions. You're bringing just so much hype, and then we all go back and we're like, okay, now we're fired up again. You guys really keep the fire in our belly and keep us performing to the top of our ability every day with your challenges and your questions we just feel so fortunate that you guys are so vocal. And I just always want to make sure that you guys are aware we're here to serve you. We are the Adventure Together team, but this is not our adventure alone. This is all of our adventure. We are building open source for tabletop, and this is no small task, but it's not one that we can complete by ourselves. We have seen since the beginning that the best ideas come from the community, and we are here to to serve and be a part of just this amazing. I'm going to start calling it a guild because I see this community as like this tight knit guild. But we are a community, and we're one of the best ones out there right now. So I just want to recap for people who came in late. We have a new stretch goal bundled in at $200,000. That is our walls. 6 walls will be included with every copy of Time Strike at no additional cost when we hit the $200,000 stretch goal. That will include the Muddy Battlefield sticker pack. And again, those walls are going to be included for that $30 price tag that you get when you bundle Source with Time Strike on the Kickstarter. If you purchase it through an add-on separately, which at this point doesn't make as much sense unless you want a second set, but that would be $45. And those walls would be included as well. So you'd come back with 12 walls. And that was the best way for us to make it accessible to the community. You get it included with your Time Strike just for that $30 extra. So we hope that excites the community. The second thing, grip mats. They're amazing. Shaper showed us. They're phenomenal. They don't move. It's like they were built for Source. And I'm so excited about them because I'm going to have a Muddy Battlefield one. I'm going to have as many of the different environment themes that I can have. I'm really, really pumped about them. But these mats, you put down a Source tile, you give it a tiny, tiny bit of pressure, and they do not move. This allows our wargamers to build without the edges, or it allows you to still use the edges and just have a really, really nice surface to build on and underlying layer so that the build doesn't take as long. And something we've heard from the community is like, oh, well, how long does this take to build? Because of Source's non-interlocking technology, because of our multi-hex configurations, and now because of these grip mats, building a source board that is highly large and complex is going to take a fraction of what others in the terrain building market do today. So it's another really, really important way that we think we're innovating and bringing you guys something new and fresh, and we're just so excited about it. Lastly, Salpy is going to render your biomes onto Source X's, bring them to life. He's going to start a awesome new section in the Source forum, and I'm sure he'll spin that up today or tomorrow. Go submit your designs. Let him bring it to life. Go ahead, Salpy.
Coming up with stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna put the 8-bit up there first, then I'm gonna do Jason's 8-bit that he made, and I'll do some renders and stuff, and I could throw some characters on there just so you guys can see too. But start once that's open, start posting your ideas, and I'll start just making some worlds come to life because it's been a lot of fun for me. So figured why not share it with the community and get some cool ideas of get everyone's wheels spinning as far as what the future could look like.
Absolutely.
The last thing I'll do is reminder that we have lots of new tiers up for the people that have tub, rain and source, or double deckers. We have lots of tiers that now include time strike, so go check those out if you want to switch things up. And we appreciate all the support.
Yeah, I think that covers what we went over today. We also had a very important question from the community. How many players can my game of Time Strike support if I get one copy of Time Strike Shadow of Fear? And the answer is probably up to about 8. You would just have to do a team format where each of you is responsible for one character rather than one team responsible for 3. So Time Strike, although is built for 2 to 3 players, you can play it with up to 8. You just configure the teams in a way where each player owns their own character and you're part of a team, or 4 teams of 2 would even work, and each of you are responsible for a character. So Time Strike, infinitely scalable. The way it's built is open source. If you have enough pieces, you can play with as many people as you want. So when future, what do we call them, standalone expansions come out, you'll just increase the amount of players that you can play with and the amount of variety that you can use on your game of Time Strike. And I think that covers it. This was an awesome, awesome day today. I hope you all go away from this call with excitement and have a wonderful weekend. Can't wait to keep talking to every single one of you. And we're working on more and new exciting things. I mean, Shaper earlier in the video, if you guys didn't see it, he dropped a little teaser of one of our dwarven boats. I would go back and check that out if you didn't, because it's gorgeous. Oh, there it is again. It makes its debut. So there's a lot on the back burner. We're waiting to show you guys until the time is right. So let's keep up the energy. Let's keep rolling every single day and keep adventuring. So everyone, why don't we say a nice farewell, and we will talk to you very soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Together.
Adventure together. Thank you, everyone.
Later.
Bye.